Good evening and welcome everyone. This is Through Your Lens episode 2 on the Spirit of Motorsport TV. I'm Hayley Coxon. Welcome to the show this evening and thanks so much for joining us. Now, we have a special guest this evening who has shared some incredible shots from his 10 years in racing so far, which we will get to in a moment. But remember that this is an interactive experience. If you do want to join the show, you want to share your comments, send your questions our way, please do so. If you have any friends that you know will enjoy the live, get them involved, share away, tag them in, right? Get them involved in the conversation. So we will be here for just under the next hour. The great Jann Mardenborough will be joining us very soon. But hello to everyone that's joined us, whether you're coming from Facebook or YouTube. And yes, please do tag your friends and get involved in the convo. So tonight we have the fantastic gamer to racer, Jann Mardenborough. Now, Jann shot to fame in the paddock and racing in GT racing from the Nissan GT Academy following his win, beating 90,000 entrants in the competition in 2011. 10 years on, he has achieved some incredible things over the years. So he has clocked LMP2, a third in LMP2 in Le Mans, 24-hour in Dubai. He has smashed the GT circuit, F3, endurance racing, incredible. So he's got some amazing stories to share this evening, along with his great photography and his newfound passion for it whilst living in Japan and racing over there. So he's going to be sharing some of his personal photography as well. So let's enjoy a conversation this evening. Share with your friends, get involved in the chat. Remember, send your questions. Welcome, Mr. Jann Mardenborough.
Hello.
Good evening. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. How are you?
Yeah, great. Thank you. Great. We've had a hello, Hayley and Jann. So we've had a comment already. So Jann, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Now, you know, on our Spirit of Motorsport platform, we've mainly been covering 2 wheels and then dabbling a little bit in 3 and 4. So it's a pleasure to have you on and share such a unique and fantastic story. So 10 years in racing following winning, beating almost 90,000, because obviously you were the 90,000th entrant to that seat. And here you are 10 years on with so many incredible stories to tell and achievements under your belt. Tell us a little bit about how it all started really for you. So how you got into the gaming and it became the racing that it did. Oh, no. Is the Wi-Fi okay? Can you hear me? Bear with us, everybody. We might have a Wi-Fi issue. Can you hear me okay, Jann? I'm sure he will be back with us in a second, sharing his insane story. Jann, can you hear us okay? Now, Jann has recently got a puppy as well, so we may hear her barking once or twice in the background, trying to get attention from her new daddy. Endurance racing to then go out in 2016. He went out to Japan and continued racing over there for Nissan, and just falling in love with the culture. So he has some great shots. He's got into photography whilst he's been living there. Hello.
Back.
Hey, he's back in the room. Great. All right, wonderful. So Jann, gamer to racer, right? First of all, are you bored of that yet? Are you bored of that being surely not, because it's such an incredible story.
No, I like the name. It's quite unusual to have like, I don't know, 2 tags, I guess, with your profession. So professional racing driver, which is I never thought anybody would be able to would call me that, and to have the gamer to racer tag. It's not even condescending. I kind of like it because there's only like maybe 8 or 9 of us ever to use that, to have that role. So I like the gamer racing.
Love it. So tell us a bit about your history with gaming first of all. Then, so you were into it as a kid, weren't you? And then were you always into it? Was it something that was always a passion?
Yeah, I was just like any other teenager, any other kid, born in the 90s, early 90s, or even before. Just loves games. It's the only thing that kind of interested me as a kid. And then when I was growing up, loved racing games. I loved cars. Cars were my first passion, my first interest in anything, not a passion, my first interest in anything as a kid. And then, once I discovered video games, it was like a snowball from then on. I'm gone. I'm just completely in the world of cars and stuff. And then with GT Academy, I guess it was just luck that kind of came around, timing of life, and the opportunity to enter GT Academy and kind of turn my childhood dream to become a driver.
Wow. So were you on a break from uni when it happened? Tell us a bit about that. So you were just getting into gaming again because you were off uni?
Yeah, so I was in uni. I was in uni in 2011 for 3 weeks. I dropped out because can we swear? Can I swear on here?
Yeah,
because it was shit. I hated it. I was doing motorsport engineering, and the only reason I did motorsport engineering is because on the induction day, they showed us around the garages of all these cars, and then there's me, idiot Jann, thinking, I'm going to be able to drive one of those cars, having no, basis behind that. But that was my reason for doing this uni course. Quickly found out it wasn't about that. It was all about maths and shit that I'm not actually good at. So I dropped out and then took a gap year for 2011. And then around February 2011, GT Academy started back up again. So it was just luck. I was home at that point, trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And I just entered on a whim because I didn't have anything else better to do. And, I thought that it'd be a cool kind of benchmark be a cool thing to benchmark myself against everybody else, because it was equal cars, equal tracks, and I just thought, how far can I go with this?
Wow. So the engineering that you were studying then, how long did you last in that?
So the thing was, you had 4 weeks, and if you dropped out the fourth week, you didn't have to pay your course fees. So the course fees back then, before Labour Conservatives lied, it was £6,000, I think, course fees. So I had to pay my housing fees, even though I was there for 3 weeks for the whole. I had to pay that for a year. So I kind of saved myself £6,000 of a hole burning in the pocket.
Oh, wow. So perfect timing though, right? So you're at home, February, you get into tell us how you and why you chose and you went with the GT Academy.
Well, I saw the advert previously in 2008, I think it was, when Lucas won the first one, the original, because they did an advert on TV. And I remember seeing that, and I was still in school doing GCSE, so I had no chance of entering it legally. So I've always, heard of it, and I've heard of the prize and what Lucas has gone on to do. And then it was just growing up as a kid. Life, when my kind of millennial people was either like football astronaut, I guess, racing driver. It's pretty much all the men that wanted to be, really, as a 6-7-year-old kid. And I was the racing driver camp. So growing up that's just my passion. Cars in general, I love cars, love racing cars. It's all I watched on TV as a kid. Nothing else interested me at all. And when you get to a teenager, you kind of figure out, that shit ain't gonna happen unless you have a big daddy who's owned an oil rig over somewhere in Scotland, or sponsors like that. And I didn't even know. I was so kind of outside of, my knowledge was tiny on the motorsport world. I didn't even know you can do go-karting outside. Like the only go-karting I ever did was like birthday party kind of indoor stuff. I didn't even know you could do karting outside. That was mad. So yeah, then when GT Academy, the menu was up in January or February, I was just, okay, I'm just going to enter. I had a wheel and pedals and a steering wheel, and I had a frame which I made in school during my last year of sixth form. I designed like a frame for my wheel and pedals. And then, it was weird how it all came about, like a year later finishing A-levels, and then using the frame and the money that I got from my GCSEs to buy these wheel and pedals, which is what I used to qualify. It's kind of a weird. And then dropping out of uni and then using that shit to qualify, it was weird. So, I don't know about, I do believe in a bit in fate, kind of both free will and fate, but yeah, it was weird timing.
Great story. I'm just going to share this question with you. Dave Walker's come through with a question. Any signs of Jann driving the Nissan Formula E car? I reckon it'd suit him. Great question, Dave.
I've driven it last year in the rookie test, and the year before in 2019. This year, to be confirmed. I'm not doing the season because that we've already got Bohemian Road in the car. But with other things, it's still working stuff out. Formula E cars cool to drive, especially when they have the motors. I would say like turned up, like amped up. I guess
it's the boost, isn't it?
Bolted up.
Yeah.
So like on 250 kilowatts, I think that's like 300 and nearly 400 horsepower, I think. But yeah, when they're fully in qualifying spec, they're pretty dope. The tires are kind of like a halfway house between a road tire and a slick, so the car moves around. It's fun. In quality mode, they're fun. And the next generation, I think it's Gen 3 or Gen 4, or the next generation, they're having even more. I think they're having the qualifying power for the race for the next gen, so that will be properly cool when they've got a lot more power for the race.
Wicked. Great. So coming back to you in 2011 then, so you got into GT Academy. How did you know from it turning into, I'm going to give this a go and enjoying this, it's keeping me entertained at home and I'm kind of good at it? How did you know, what point was it like, shit, actually, I think I might actually be getting through, possibly I've got potentially of getting all the way?
Only the last day at the finals at Silverstone, when Johnny Herbert was talking to me for the last event, which was the qualifying for the last race, and then the winner of that race would be the winner of the Academy. Up until that point, I didn't even think about it. I wouldn't let myself believe, because I didn't want to believe in the fairy tale, because if it got taken away from me, it would have been absolutely devastating. I mean, getting to the semi-finals is all good. So yeah, this was when I just won the race. It was dope. That was a sick moment. But up until that point, just before qualifying for this event, I didn't even catch myself thinking about it, because that was just thinking back. It's for me, a 19-year-old, just to be let loose on a track at Silverstone in a GTR, and then possibly not doing that again, like that fucked me up. I was like, I can't not think. I shouldn't think about winning, because if I do it and it doesn't happen, I don't know.
But then you talked about how Gavin Goff, he was one of your mentors, coaches.
Yeah. So in the last picture,
he was like a mindset chat. Yeah.
So he was in the last picture as well, just in the back right. This guy was like massively influential in helping me win. There he is in the right behind Johnny. So Gavin, he is a psychologist, and he's also fought in two as well. He flew planes, flew Spitfires, and he was at the GT Academy to help out with the competitors mentally, just to get the best out of it, because it's a really weird environment to be in. You know, every day you don't know what you're going to be driving or what event you're going to be doing, and it just fucks with your head because you don't know where you are in the pecking order either. So it just, you know, he saw something in me, and that last photo, we were stood up, and then quickly after that, we sat on the floor on the pit wall, and then we were just talking about just the next event, and he was gassing me up, like he was really gassing me up, and only around this point I started to kind of feel confident in my own driving. Didn't think about winning, but he just gave me this confidence, and I just listened to every word he said to me, and he was telling me, you're here for a reason. These guys are getting knocked out that had a lot more experience than me, and I'm still here, and just to come out of my shell a bit more as well, personality-wise, because I was like just like completely blinking. Even when we had like a TV crew there filming everything, but even like when they weren't on, I'm just so like robotic in my approach. And we were talking about how there was some events that went wrong. So the first time during the GT Academy finals, I drove a race car. It was a 350Z, and I put it in the gravel with Rob Barth sat next to me and in the passenger seat, and I just went out too hard, and Gavin was talking to me about how to come back from that. That was my first kind of bum mistake. But yeah, massively influential on me.
There's been some huge names, haven't there, come out of the academy and out of that competition. It's a huge success, and what you've achieved over your last 10 years. It'd be your 10-year anniversary, wouldn't it? What month will it be this year?
It's June 20. I think it's June 16th or 26th. I should know. I think it's the 16th. Yeah.
Incredible. Then you went on to race with the other racers, didn't you? So you raced with Lucas, you were at Le Mans with him in the car. So tell us a bit about this one as well. So this is a great story. Please fill us in on the story behind this great shot.
So this is Brands Hatch. I can't remember which round it was, but it's British GT, and this was my first win in GT3. I would class my first big win. So in the Aston was Raptor driver Johnny Adam, and in the Nissan it was just me and Alex Buncombe. And this car, the GTR, this was its first win ever on an international scale. So the car was brand new for that year in 2012. First win in Europe, and I think first win overall ever of that GT3 GTR. This race, Alex started the race, and he got into the lead, and then I got in the car, and I had a pretty big gap to. There was a Z4 behind me of. But yeah, it was Z4 behind me, and I was gapping I could keep the gaps in Z4, and then Bob Neville, the team principal of RGM, came on the radio to say the Aston's catching like a second a lap. I mean, this thing was hooked. Like the GTI, is pretty heavy on its tires, and like this Aston's catching like 1 second a lap. And I saw him in my mirrors the last 3 laps to go, and like the GTR is a wide car, and I'm like, there's no way this guy is coming past me. And it came down to the last lap, and out of Brands Hatch, the last pit straight, it's not even straight, so I tried to position my car in a way where you wouldn't get past. And so this was 22 thousandths of a second. So it was the closest finish in British GT history, and I didn't know I won the race. Well, we won the race, and until I asked on the radio, did we win, and then I just heard screaming, and that's when I realised we won.
Awesome. So you raced quite a lot, didn't you, with Alex? Alex is a really well-established Nissan driver, so he must have. Was he really supportive? He must have offered you some tips and tricks because he had such great experience, and then over the years as well as you grew together. Yeah, he had quite a great relationship with Nissan, didn't he?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for him because looking back, you have some guy who's come from the game, and he was with Lucas as well. He trained Lucas up and got Lucas to where he is. But to have that role where you're trying to make it yourself, you're trying to make it big and make a name for yourself, but then you're partnered with like us, the gamers. Mentally, I understand now how challenging that can be, and I have a lot of respect for him because he didn't hide anything from me. He was always giving me a fair chance, fair crack of the whip with tires. He wouldn't, there's so many things you can do, to make us trip over, and he didn't do that, and he was rapidly quick. In a GT3 car, he's like one of the quickest guys I ever raced with as a teammate, and in traffic, I think he's one of the best GT3 guys out there. His laps in traffic were crazy. So he was a great teammate.
Awesome. All right, we've got lots more great shots to share. So if we move on to the all right.
This one makes me feel good. This is my first win in GP3 in 2014 at Hockenheim. Started in pole and just led the whole race. And got into the pit lane, and I was like thinking, okay, what do I do now? Like, I was trying to think of something to do when I get out of the car, but I kind of did this. Just pure adrenaline, and cool moment. Love it. And then the guys at GT Academy in Nissan Europe, they made a huge print of this, and they hung it up in the wall at Silverstone in the office. So it was pretty cool to see that.
Has there been one particular point in the last 10 years where you're just like, wow, I did that? Is there any particular one that you can pinpoint where you just have to really pinch yourself thinking, incredible? Because you've had so many amazing achievements over the years.
No, it's not that. Like I haven't peaked. Like I try not to look. But doing this now is kind of cool. But I would never do it myself. I'd never go back and look at this. Oh, this is cool, because I'm not ready yet to do that. But when somebody else does it, it's cool to do. But no, I mean, there has just pinched myself just being a driver. This year's a bit shit, but hopefully it'll change. But just being a racing driver is enough to pinch myself, just to have like an international A racing license. So being graded platinum, like, it means nothing really in the grand scheme of things. But thinking back 10 years ago, not even on my wavelength of that even ever happening. Yeah. So that's really cool. I guess pinch myself moments would be driving. I think I've got a photo of it. It's like driving cars in Japan that I used to control on Gran Turismo computer games. That's a pinch myself moment, which is really cool.
Good. We've got another question for you here from one of our Facebook users. Do you have a favorite track, and why is it your favorite? Great question.
Favorite track, Sugo in Japan. It's this crazy Japanese track just north of 2 hours north of Tokyo, in the city of Sendai. And I mean, if you watch any Super GT races, almost every single one is a crazy race with overtaking for 500 cars and 300. It's my favorite. It's a narrow track, and it's one, if you fuck up, it'll bite you, and you put the car in the wall. It's like track grass wall, and it's a real thrill in the race and also in qualifying. It's if you make a mistake, you're in the wall in the big way, and that's why I love it.
Great, fantastic. All right, so keep those comments coming in and those questions. Feel free to share with your friends as well. Get them involved in the chat. We have a question from Twitter here. I'm at work now in the USA. I will definitely listen later, but please tell Jann I'm a huge fan and he's the reason why I love motorsports, and let him know representation matters. My question for him is, would you ever join North Hurt Sam commentating? Oh yeah, commentating for the Super GT World. That's a great question.
I mean, if I'm in the, maybe when I'm 50. But, right now, no, I'd rather be driving than commentating. But
okay.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if we could do some live commentary, like they do in F1 when you're on the grid, and then they've got the guys in the commentary booth, like live talking to us. That'd be pretty cool. No idea for Super GT.
So it's part of the future plan. You've got no racing left in you. Okay. All right. So this is one of my favorites, I think, from your collection because of the story behind it as well. So tell us more.
I didn't take this. I don't know who did, but yeah. So this is Dubai. The top picture, 2012. So this was the prize of GT Academy. That was meant to be it. That was meant to be the prize. And then after this, game over. Go back to live in the UK. That was meant to be it, but thankfully not. And then the bottom picture, I think, was 5 years later. And so I was returning with, in the picture, the other suits, you can see Ricardo Sanchez, and then there was another French GT Academy winner, and there was a Mexican winner as well in the far, Johnny Gumby in the far, right in the distance, and then Bob and Liz in the background as well. So yeah, it was cool. I remembered doing this picture, like I remember this picture from 2000. First time I did it, 2012, and then I tried to recreate it again 5 years later, and it was pretty cool to do.
Great. So tell us more about, you obviously won that ride, the drive even in Dubai, and then you stayed on. So there you are 5 years later. So how, after you raced in Dubai, was there a very quick conversation after Dubai to say, right, let's keep this going? Or was it something before Dubai, or how did that kind of unravel?
So did Dubai, and then I didn't ask so many questions. I had my mentors, Christian and Rob, who stayed with me and the American GT Academy winner as well. And I remember just asking them, what's going to happen now then? Because like we did the race, and then it's like, what happens now? And he's like, just don't ask questions, just do your best, and then see what happens. So I did the race, and it was like a few weeks later. I think it was Bob Neville contacted me, and he was like, we're doing British GT. And some blog plan endurance racing as well in the new GTR GT3. And so this was Darren Cox behind the scenes, working his magic with Nissan Europe to come up with a drive for me. But yeah, when I got that news, I can't remember where I was, but it was mad. It was absolutely mad. And I remember the day going to JRM, the official importer of the team that was running the car anyway, importing the car for Europe, and just doing a seat fit of Alex Buncombe, and I was just like, I remember now, I was just gobsmacked. Like, this is going to be my car, sharing with Alex for years. Man, absolutely crazy. But yeah, I think it was about around 2 weeks after Dubai where I had an email, or kind of a phone call or an email to say, yeah, you're going to be racing again, and then just continued on. It's just like, get to the end of the year, get a phone call. Bob tells me, okay, you're doing tests in Formula 3 for 2013. And the single seat thing came about. It was weird, really, really strange.
Brilliant. Such a fantastic story. All right, we've got lots more shots. Here we go. So, Brdc Award now. Wow. This is pretty special as well. So tell us more.
Yeah, so I should know the name of this trophy, but I won a... oh, there we go. Yeah, you've got Richard Seaman. That's it. I was going to say David Seaman.
Yeah.
He's the goalkeeper.
The football fan in you.
Yeah. But yeah, I knew it was something. Yeah, Richard Seaman. So this was, I think BRDC do an award outside of F1. And because I was doing Formula 3 in Japan and GT3 in Japan, and I'd almost won the F3 championship, had a load of wins, and then same with GT300. I gained enough points to I was the best. Yeah, I won this award for best placed British driver outside F1, British and Commonwealth outside of F1, which was dope. That was a really cool moment, to be on the stage, with, Harry was just in the right, Harry Tinknell, and then we were on the guy on the left. It was a cool evening. It was really good. I went there and all suited and booted, and to be a part of the BRDC is pretty mind blowing as well. I remember doing the interview with I can't remember the chap's name, but there was an interview process to get into the BRDC, and I was literally sweating my balls off, sweating, and like my heart was going. I was like, what the fuck is going on with me here? Like, because it meant so much. It was like I'm going to be accepted into the most prestigious, I think one of the most prestigious clubs in the world, and I was being interviewed, and they're asking me a load of questions, and they accepted me, but it meant a lot. Man.
Well deserved. We've got another question here for you. Nelson Pinto, hello, good evening to you. Super happy for you making it to the real world of racing, and would like to ask you, what was your best race to date? Great question, Nelson.
I think, there's a lot. I'm not saying I just thought of one, and then I thought of another one. So the one that first came to my head was Le Mans in 2014. And I remember I was driving the LMP2 car at Ligier with G-Drive sponsor, and this car was its first race, brand new LMP2 car, and this car is the best handling car, most enjoyable car I've ever driven, and it's my best race because of that, because the car was such a joy to drive. Would have won that race by almost 3 minutes, but in the last 3 hours, I think, one of the spark plugs failed, and we finished 5th, I think, something like that. But had like a 3-minute gap, and then Harry Tinknell won that race for his first time. But we won that race by almost a lap. But up until that point, it was the most enjoyable race because the car was amazing. But I'd say, my another one, second thing came to mind was Formula 3 in Okayama in 2016. It was a wet race, and it's my first win. And I won, I think it might be this was Motegi, I think it was the next round. But I won by like 50 seconds, I think. 50 seconds, and the race is only like 20 laps. And I remember coming across the start-finish line, and there's my engineer hanging out the pit wall with like a, it says plus or minus, distance to the car behind. And I was playing the game myself. I was like, I'm going to try and make sure that every time I come past, it's always a second up. So, I was like 30 seconds in the lead, and I'm driving as if like my life depended on it. But I was really pissed off because on the first race, I think the organisers of the championship, they called me in to fix a rain light. My rain light was hanging off while I was third, and it's fine. It's just dangling. It's still attached, but they gave me the black and orange disc, so I had to come into pits from third position for the team to remove it and then continue on. So the next race, around the following day, we had another race which was wet, and I think I was on pole. And I just like, it was almost just a proof point, just to say, I'm not going to swear, but I was like, why did you call me in? That was my best. And that was my first win in Formula 3, first win in a single season. second win in single series, but first win in Formula 3. So that was mega.
Great. All right, let's get on with the. Got a few more pictures. Keep your comments coming in and your questions. We are here. We are listening. We are ready for them. All right, Jann. So it's not a bad way to celebrate.
Yes, I think this is the time, where Bolt was doing his thing, the Olympics and that, and yeah, I just kind of. There was 2 races that weekend, and both of them were wet, and I pulled both of them, and won both races, and I had like a big gap in the championship to second, and yeah, I was kind of like just fucking about. Like the team were like, "Oh, you should do the Bolt thing." I was like, "Okay, I'll do that." When I finished the race, but yeah, it was mad. That was a good weekend.
Right. We've got a howdy from America from John Kashirski. Good evening, John.
Hello, John.
Okay, so we just got a couple more racing shots as well. All right, so you mentioned how you grew up gaming. So tell us what relevance this has to your gaming growing up as a teenager.
So this is, I think, either 1995 or 96 GT1 R33 GTR, and this car raced at Le Mans in 96 with. An assistant car was my boss, actually, for the last 2 years in 2019. Anyway, so this is the Nismo Festival, and Nismo Festival at the end of every year and every season in December, they get all the old cars, and all the drivers, we get to drive them for the fans and just, do like a show. And it's held over 2 days, and this is on the Saturday, where I'm like pestering all the people working at Nismo to drive all their old stuff. And I remember choosing this car. I was selected to drive this car on email like back in October, and I was gassed because I've driven this car on the gate. It was one of my favorite cars in GT2, I think it was, Gran Turismo 2. And it's such a beautiful car to drive. It's really analog. It still has the RB26, 400 horsepower, manual, 3 pedals, carbon brakes actually, which I didn't expect. But it's such a really nicely positioned, weighted controls. It's awesome to drive. And, it's prepared as if it was being prepared to race, so everything works properly. The boost isn't turned down. It's all legit. And the spot. I don't know what the sponsor is. Keep the dream alive. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that was relevance back in the day, but it speaks so true. It's an awesome experience. I pinched myself.
Really?
This was like.
Yeah, there you go. Just truly igniting that inner child, isn't it? It's really that excited inner child. Fantastic. Good evening, Brian Spooner. Thank you for joining us. Nice to see you pop up on here. Okay, so next shot.
So this is 2018 at Suzuka, I think during a test, round 3 Suzuka 2018. So this is my favorite team, my favorite joint favorite team owners. So the guy stood to me on my left is in the shirt is Hoshino-san, and he is a Japanese racing legend. He raced for Nismo for years and years in Japan and also in Europe with doing Le Mans. He raced in Formula 1 a few races. He did race at Donington back in the day. And this guy is just like a legend. He's one of a few team owners I've raced with, and it's very rare for a Japanese team owner to be such a racer at heart. So he'll say to me, and his English isn't perfect, my Japanese isn't great either, but we'd always understand each other. He'd always say to me, "Jann, no problem. If crash, no problem. We can fix. Always maximum attack." And he would always say, we can repair the car. You can, I just want you to show me your speed. and it was so refreshing. Yeah, awesome guy. Awesome guy. I raced with his son in 2016 as well in Super GT with Kazuki Hoshino. And that family's have a lot of respect for him. The dad is a real racer. I don't know, just to stand with him, with his team. That sponsor, that blue car is the longest running sponsor in motorsport history, Calsonic. That car livery's been the same for years. I'm really proud of him.
So you moved out to Japan in 2016, didn't you, in Nissan, and you totally took to living out there. You loved it, didn't you? You've really loved your time there.
Yeah, it's the best place I've ever lived. Just an awesome place to be. Always busy. You're never bored. Always something to do, something open. I love that city. It's a really good, not just Tokyo, but the other regions as well. I've traveled with racing and visited a few places as well, north and south. It's a unique place in the world. There's nothing quite like Japan.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys, for saying hello. Keep your comments and your questions coming in. All right, Jann. So tell us the story behind this.
So this is 2019, and this is with Team Kondo Racing. And my time in Japan in 500, I guess I came in at a time where I'm not so lucky, where the car hasn't been so strong. And even when I was with Impel, the previous team, Hoshino-san. But to always get results was kind of tough, and especially with Kondo with Yokohama tires, because the tire isn't so strong. And I just remember being really happy at this moment because this was at Autopolis, I think round 6 in 2019, and it's just after qualifying. I'm walking back to the pits after putting it second on the grid for the race. And in Super GT, we have 2 qualifying. Like Formula 1, they have 3 sessions. We have 2 in Super GT, so that people get advanced to the next stage. My teammate got the car through to Q2, and I did Q2 and put it second. I was just gassed. I was so happy because it's hard to show your performance. You're only as good as the car really underneath you. And in Super GT, it's like the tire. The car can be good, but if the tire is no good, it's tough. Super GT is unique because it has a tire award, so there's many different tires, and it makes it great, and also makes it frustrating when you've got like a weak tire. But anyway, I was gassed with this moment. It was kind of like a monkey off mushroom. It wasn't pole, it was almost pole. The car behind me getting pushed behind was pole, but it was close. But I was proud of that.
We've got a question here from John Kashirski over in the States. Growing up, I played many Gran Turismo games on PlayStation. Did the lines in the game come close to the real life at Le Mans? Great question, John.
Yeah, not only the lines, the more detailed parts to it as well. So on Gran Turismo especially, they do a lot of work with the external features of the track. So like signboards, trees, marker posts, things like that, which I noticed when I went to Le Mans for the first time. The lines are the lines. The lines are kind of like simple, really, but it was the like racing in the dark where you need to use like visual markers because you can't see anything. You just have your headlights like you need to have like references. And I remember racing Gran Turismo in the dark for Le Mans and other tracks as well, and kind of using the same references on the game and real life. So it's a good one.
So to take a third, it was LMP2, wasn't it? And was it 20?
Yeah,
13. 13, was it?
Maybe 13. I think it was 13.
13, you thought third in LMP2. I mean, wow. To go and receive that, I mean, tell us just a little bit about how that felt to achieve that in such an iconic place.
It was dope. It was great, but it was not where it seems because I didn't actually get to go on the podium because our car finished 4th, But then 2 weeks later, I was in a sim session with my engineer for Formula 3, and he stopped the sim session mid driving, and he said, "I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The bad news is you didn't get to go on the podium." And I was like, "What?" And then he said, "Though the good news, you finished third at Le Mans, because the car that finished third got disqualified because it was cheating, and then I was promoted to third. So great that I finished third, but didn't actually get to go on the podium, which was the whole point of doing the race. I think it's the best podium, probably outside of Monaco or Monza, Formula One. There is.
You'll get there. You will be there. All right. So check this sexy shot out. Jann, tell us more. Look at that.
Yes. So this is one for me. This is last year, round 5 at Fuji. And this was my car. So Honda Racing, GTR, and Yokohama tires. And around this time, I'd started to get into. I was into photography for a while, and also film, but first time using transparency film, like slide film, and it's very unforgiving. So like, if your exposure isn't perfect, it isn't perfect here, but it was kind of like the look I was going for, like a kind of moody look. So the highlights get blown out, or the shadows are completely crushed, they're completely black. So it's quite hard to use, but the detail and the saturation of the colors are kind of awesome on film. And I want to build up a collection, of taking pictures with slide film, because you can have like those old style, 50s kind of projectors where you can put like a film in a projector, and it lights up, projects onto your wall. So I want to get a good collection of like photos using slide film, and from racing and just life. And this photo was kind of moody looking.
And why slide film? Has somebody got you into that, or is it just something that you found when you're on your travels, or how did you progress into it?
Just photography in general. So started using film, positive color negatives. So but then slide film is what people used back in the day, up until like the 2000s, I think, or 90s. And just the colors, it's like an expert level of photography, of film photography. And I just wanted to challenge myself, see if I can do it. It's really hard to do. And in Tokyo, it's perfect for buying film, because they really like the old stuff. They're very modern in their approach to certain things, but also they really hold on to the old things. So it's the best place on earth to go and find like a vintage Casio watch that you control your TV with. Those ones that have the infrared. You can go and find like one of those in a shop that's brand new, hasn't been touched. You try and find one of those in London, like it's impossible. So they take care of the old good things, and I just like it. I guess I'm a bit of a hipster kind of way, but I just like it slows me down when taking a picture. I really have to think about the framing, the settings for aperture, and the speed of the shutter, and I like the thinking aspect to it.
Great. John has another question for you. This is a great question. What is it like to be passed by an LMP1 car while holding your line in the Mulsanne Straight in Le Mans? That is a brilliant question.
At the end of the Mulsanne, it's not that of a big deal, because in some cases the P2 cars are a little bit quicker at real top speed, because they have the whole hybrid thing and the kind of lifting coasting. But certainly when you get onto like Mulsanne Straight, after Tête Rouge, just before the straight, and we're like 4th gear, I think, doing maybe, 140 miles an hour. And they're like already at 180. It's insane. Like, because with the battery, they come past you as if like at 40 miles an hour, like faster than you, and you're like going quick, and they just come past you like you stood still. It's mad. Like, it's really impressive. The acceleration of the P1 cars is mental.
Oh, can feel that as you're describing it. Okay, so we do have more photography from you. Let's just touch on this one first of all. So, nice little boys trip.
Yeah, so this was 2019. My really good mates, best me on the left, and I know the guy on the right. So the guy on the left, my right is James, my best mate, and then my left is Chris, a friend from James, also a good friend of mine. And yeah, these guys, my life has always been very structured for 10 years, ever since getting to racing. It's very much like, I've got this band, doing this season, this next season, blah, blah, blah. Whereas these guys, they were like, this is in New Zealand, and this was in the South Island, and they were working in Queenstown in bars, and I just come over to do some skiing with them, just for a little break from Tokyo. And when I arrived, they were like, okay, we're going to quit our jobs now, and then, use the car that we've got and just go on a road trip to the North Island and then find some work. And I was just like shocked, like they're so free will. It was awesome. It was really kind of inspiring. I really remember that trip. It was just really carefree. It was just like nice just to have no thinking of racing or where I've got to be, training, wherever. It was a fun trip. And the car behind was a proper shit box. It was this Honda CR-V, and it was like the suspension, all the joints were all knackered, and death trap for the car made it.
Going back to that structure, Jann, so you obviously that was instilled in you when you got into the racing, but was it beforehand? Because your dad played football, didn't he? So he would have had a lot of structure in his life playing the football at the level that he did. So was it passed down to you bringing that structure in? Was it already in place, or was it very much instilled once you got in the opportunity to get into racing?
It was only instilled getting into racing because, while my dad was pro, when I was a teenager, he retired at that point. So, and he wasn't playing at that point. And then, in school, not really knowing what you want to be after you finish. I was always good at making things. So when I was designing things and making stuff, but I didn't really have that structure. When in racing, I forced myself to have this structure because it's all I care about. So it's like I need to be structured. Like I don't give a shit about anything else. This is what I want to do, so I'm gonna be structured in the way that I do it. Nothing else matters. So yeah, it came from the racing, not really from my dad.
So we've got a couple more great shots from your film. So you've got this chap here with the rose.
Yeah, so this is the busiest crossing interchange in the world. This is Shibuya Crossing. Shibuya Crossing. And whenever you go there, this place there's always something new going on there. It's a place where everybody goes to hang out. And I just remember coming out the train station and just seeing this guy. I always carry my camera with me, and it's like just standing there in rows for ages, just in the air, and everybody's just not really looking, just kind of mind their own business. And it was really just like a nice moment where it's just like complete stood still, holding a rose, and then everybody else was just like jostling past him. It was, I don't know, it's like the opposite of what everybody else was doing. That's why I was kind of attracted to take the photo.
It's very calming, isn't it? Looking at him doing that and standing that there when it's such a chaotic. It's just full on there, isn't it? I've been there once when I went backpacking. I was telling you, and it is full on. Once it starts, it's like go run for your life. But he's just like, yeah, cool. I'm just having a moment with myself. It's beautiful. Feels really calming looking at that shot. I think really calming. We've got John Kashirski saying, "I'd love an autograph from a Le Mans driver." So would I, John. Would you be inclined to post one to me in the States? We can send you details over.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, I always find it strange, like, and this is in a good way, there's no disrespect, but like, it's mad when somebody asks for your autograph, because I'm like, really? But yeah, sure, man. No problem.
Now, you stay very humble, don't you? So your friends, you were in the 2015 series on Amazon, the Le Mans Racing is Everything series, and it's an incredible series, shine a light on the Le Mans 2015. And your mates pop up in there, and you're having a laugh with them in the car, and and your mum and dad are very. They must keep you grounded, right? So you keep that circle tight, and your mum and dad must be so proud as well.
Yeah, I still have, the same friends and that. Yeah, as grounded as I can be. Yeah, I mean.
Brian Spooner's asking, what's your best moment in motorsport?
Winning GT Academy. That's the best. Yes. I mean, it's an easy one. It's an easy one. But I guess winning my first Formula 3 race in Japan, yeah, that's also there as well.
Great. So we've just got one more shot that you've taken of the city, and it's absolutely stunning. So when did you take this?
This was last year, and I shared this because it's something to aim for in the future as well. So I was living with a good friend of mine, Nick Cassidy, and he killed it in Japan. He's a driver as well from New Zealand. He absolutely killed it. Won every championship in Japan, and we've lived together since 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017 up until end of last year. And for 2020, we were like, well, he was more like, oh, we're going to go big with our apartment for 2020, and like we just spent like an obscene amount of money on getting this apartment because we wanted this apartment to be like the party apartment. All the drivers and all the people would come over, all the girls come over to party and have like amazing view. So in just at the foot of Tokyo Tower there is what's it called? My geography's gone bad now. But it's Hibiya Park. I think so. Shiba Park. And it's like almost like, Central Park of New York. Beautiful views in the day and the night. And I remember just taking this, just thinking, one day I'm gonna get an apartment like this again, in the future. So this was like out my bedroom window, like into man. Every time you wake up in the morning or any time of the day, you just look out and it's just like you have the C1 highway expressway just on the bottom there. So back in like February or March 2020, when all the lockdown shit was going on, it happened in Japan as well. But every single night for about a month, you had around 1 o'clock, you'd have these street races take part every night, just driving these high performance cars. And this is like something which I've seen in films and stuff, like Tokyo Drift style. Mad. Yeah, so just a place, a level which I want to reach again. In the future.
Great, getting on that frequency. Stunning. Okay, so well, Jann, listen, thank you to everyone for your comments and your questions, and thank you for your time. I'm really it's great to hear more of your story. Really, we can hear bits of it that's out there already, but it's really nice to get access to some of your favorite shots and a little bit of your photography as well. It's very much appreciated. I feel very lucky to have been working in the paddock when you came into the GT paddock and you started racing and creating the buzz that you did. I remember Johnny speaking very highly of you. So it's nice to see how well you've done. And I know there's so much more to come as well. It's really exciting. So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And I'm excited to see where the next few years take you.
Yeah, hopefully, sort something out. It's a bit of a weird place at the moment, but yeah, I'm not. You ain't scared the last of me. I'm not keep going.
Are you still gaming though? Are you still doing
no,
it a
I'm
lot?
not. I'm not.
I'm not really doing like that.
Shooting games with my friends, but racing wise, no, not anything. I'm in a weird place at the moment, but yeah, I'm building up to something. So yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, we're excited to see what's next. So thank you to everyone. John's saying thank you. He's going to send his details. I'll forward his details on to you, Jann.
Okay, yeah.
Send that autograph out to him. That would be wonderful. Thank you. Best of luck with everything, and appreciate your time. Take care, and we'll speak to you very soon.
Perfect. Ciao.
Take care, Jann. Bye. Wow, great shots again and great stories. That was pretty special. So yeah, covering 4 wheels tonight. Thank you for your support, your comments, your questions. If you know anyone that might enjoy this, that's into motorsport, photography, GT racing, endurance racing, whatever it is, any of that, fire them this way. There is a replay. It's going to be there for anyone to watch. Share it with your friends. Please do direct them to the subscribe button on YouTube. Subscribe, push on your notifications, and stay up to date with any new content and lives that's coming your way. Thank you, everybody. This was Through Your Lens, episode 2 with Jann Mardenborough. I'm Hayley Coxon, and this is the Spirit of Motorsport TV.